Hello guys, how you doing? It's Videosec here, and this will be the last video I'm making today. I'm going to be pretty busy, by the way. Anyway, so let's talk about some of the viewer comments and questions because, there's been a lot of them lately. But anyway, so this first one I will talk about is, of course, this one person talking about how, he's been watching my videos and he's like, wow, it seems like TP dolls aren't even worth it with the amount of work it takes, and that he's going to get a silicone doll. And so I kind of just stated to him the fact that, well, you can kind of be a bit lazier about, taking care of your doll a bit. Like, you can actually push it for another month if you wanted to, and push off the cleaning and process and everything a bit more if you want to. And as far as like using the baby oil to kind of rejuvenate the body, and then using some petroleum gel to kind of go after the harder, stretchier, or the areas that have been used more and roughed up more, to kind of get it rejuvenated. When it comes to that kind of stuff, you don't have to even do that as often as cleaning the doll, but you do have to do it every now and then. Like, I mean, to be frank, I don't even do it that much on my doll. In fact, as far as throughout a year, I've had my doll for a few years now, like at least a few times a year. I would say at least a few times a year, especially if it's normal silicone. Maybe a bit more for normal silicone, really. If you're not using jelly or platinum version of TPE. But, I did suggest to the guy that, if you don't want to pay like $4,000 to $6,000 for a silicone high-end doll, you could pay for something like, a platinum silicone doll, which doesn't really require as much care as the other two types of, TPE, like jelly and, like I said, the standard TPE. So yeah, that's just kind of why I suggested to him, because if you get the platinum version of TPE, it actually isn't as much headache. In fact, I'm probably going to get one at some point, maybe, but we'll see what that happens, because these dolls are fucking expensive. But anyway, so moving on to the next one. This person kind of laid this comment to me. I don't know if he's been trying to be smart ass to me, but I just kind of answered him anyway. When he commented the fact that, he said that he had a stain on his TPE doll, and so he ordered, some of that cream that we've talked about, to rub that, stuff out. And he said that when he did that, it actually got to the point where it just like kind of disappeared because it sunk into the doll so much. And I just stated to him the fact that, one, when you get this types of stuff, like all the care stuff for your doll, I would recommend you get all the required care products and stuff as ASAP. If you are ordering a new doll, and let's say it's the first time you've ordered from that site, because sometimes the care products will differ a bit differently, and sometimes the care will be a bit different from each site, but generally they're mostly the same. But anyway, so yeah, get the stuff as soon as you get the doll if you can. Get it ASAP. And if you run out of supplies, get more supplies, because you're eventually probably going to need it. But then the other thing I said to him was, really? I mean, so you got a stain from your doll or on your doll, and it just sunk into your doll so much that it disappeared, and kind of like I mean, for one, it must not have been very much, because like I still have stains on my TPE doll. It's not like it looks terrible, but if I, let's say, put this camera up close to the doll, you would start to see it. Because I still have areas of the knees and the joint areas at some point, and some parts, and I have a bit of that leftover ink from the back area, just a tiny bit of it from back when I made that fuck up a while back. But the reason why you need to do that, especially, is just because of the simple fact that, especially if there's like a lot of discoloration from, let's say, the clothes that you put on her, like a black t-shirt or something, and there's a ton of it, it's actually going to not only look like shit, it's going to be causing damage to the material, and it's going to fuck it up. So if you don't get all of that excess ink out of the doll's, material, it's going to be more, how should I say it? It's going to be more prone to tears, cuts, etc., and to other damage that could occur to the doll. Because, these dolls are full of chemicals. And if other chemicals enter into these, into this material, these chemicals are going to react a certain way. So what's happening is, if there's like a ton of this ink, if it's a little bit of it, it's okay. It's okay. If it's a little bit of it, it's okay. It's manageable. But if it's like a ton of it or a lot of it, like let's say about like that much of it, it's going to be damaging the material, which is the other reason why you want to do that. So just keep that in mind. And there's another question from another guy that's actually has been asking me questions from time to time. He was asking a question about dust. And when I read his, explanation, I just said to him, okay, so it sounds like your place is a naturally dusty place. And it also kind of sounds like what might be happening is that, some of your equipment to keep the dust off of your doll might be getting dusty itself, because you've also got to clean the stuff too, You've also got to clean the equipment. And he was also asking me, like, is it possible to keep dust off at all times? And of course I said to him, no, it's impossible to do that, especially if it's in a naturally dusty place. About the only thing you can do is get maybe like a duster brush for any excess dust that's getting on top of her. And that's really all you can do, so that you don't have to really give a full body clean all the time, But yeah. And there's this one guy that put down a comment saying something like, I like it when your girls don't interrupt you while you're making your videos. And I was like, yes, they know when to shut up. But anyway. And just, was it today? Yeah, some guy actually was, I won't say his name. He was saying that he wanted to like put me on Twitter because he felt that some of my videos would get a lot more content. And he was actually requesting to do it with an older video, and was requesting me to like, kind of try to show, like physically how to do stuff with these dolls. And when he said that to me, I was like, I would seriously demonstrate, like physically, how to do this stuff with these dolls more. But the only problem with that is that if I were to do that with these care videos, and I would have to completely undress these dolls. And if I do that, these dolls would be naked, and then YouTube would delete my video from my account that I had just made and worked on. And then that would be another strike on my channel. And I know this because I've actually already tried. I have actually one strike on my YouTube channel as is. And so now I cannot make any other risks, because if I make another one that gets deleted like that, I will be suspended for at least a week or two. And if I do it again, it'll be for like a few months. And if I do it again, then they'll just delete my account entirely. So, which is basically what I told them in a nutshell. I totally would do that for you guys. And, even show you in more detail the nipples you know, the vagina, everything. I would seriously show you guys everything to show you that these dolls, indeed, especially the silicone doll that I have, they look very realistic. They really do. And you know, they feel real too. And yeah, I would demonstrate some of the care stuff on these dolls like that, but I just unfortunately cannot. But I also suggested him look at other videos because the one he was checking out was an older video. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll check out some of the other videos. And so, yeah, we just kind of left it at that. But anyway, I'm finished with this video on the comments and stuff. If the guys have more questions or comments, you can just lay them down, I guess. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.